Very beginning, we have Leon bursting his way into this poor Spanish civilian's house. After trying to communicate with him in a language not native to this land, Leon gets frustrated and decides to blow this man's head clean off. The handgun has a 10% chance to critical hit. Assuming you always aimed at the head, this could save 1 second. Next, the startup to the bingo sequence, you can also crit this individual for a cool 2-second time save. Also a 10% chance. When running up to your true love, the shotgun, there is a 32% chance that these enemies will throw their axe instead of swinging, saving half a second. This dynamite fellow can extremely rarely throw his dynamite early, losing a few seconds. This canyon is one of the larger reset points in the game. Getting hit here destroys your inventory and loses at least 4 seconds immediately and more time later on. There's about a 22% chance to get random villagers on this bridge. This random dude could be out of the way entirely, and it saves about a second. After we leave the estate, there was one enemy who sometimes dares stand in the way of Leon. This means he needs to be shot, losing 1 second. For the next 5 minutes or so, the game has almost no random elements, and is mostly execution based. Until the end of 3-1, that is. 1-3 just so happens to house the world's largest tadpole. This little fella is the single largest piece of RNG in the entire early game. Just 10 minutes in, there is a chance that you will have one of 3 patterns. The early dive is the worst possible pattern, losing 15 to 18 seconds. Then you have the late dive, which loses 10 to 11 seconds. Lastly, you have the coveted no dive, which is the fastest possible fight. With the potential to lose a total of 18 seconds based on pure RNG, Delago is the largest reset point of early game. For a runner like Yushi, a late dive is acceptable, but it hurts the chances of a new world record greatly. And an early dive just flat out kills this chance entirely. According to my research, there is actually an exact 1/3 split between each possible option. This means that for a top runner like Yushi, 1/3 of all of your runs will straight up die to this stupid tadpole. It's important to note that not all interactions with enemies have RNG. On Professional, the difficulty is locked to the highest it can go. This allows enemies to have consistent movements and patterns depending on the player's movement. This is also known as manipulating the AI. Precise movement can make enemies do certain patterns, however not in every interaction. Some enemies, no matter what, will have a chance to do multiple patterns. There is a small chance that when you tell Ashley to wait and follow, that this actual large brain individual will walk around the ladder instead of directly into it. This can actually lose upwards of 20 seconds if Ashley gets grabbed. Here the enemy placement is also random. There is a chance that you'll have to bait an attack instead of just letting Ashley run by. This is a 2-second time loss. Now, if you thought Delago was a bad reset point at about 10 minutes into the run, let me introduce you to Lewis's Funhouse, aka Cabin, aka the wooden structure. It is really hard to calculate the chance that you get a good cabin, especially since a good cabin is often referred to as a myth. Basically, Leon and Lewis become a dynamic duo and have to kill 40 enemies as fast as possible. However, you can get up to 2 Plaga spawns at a time, and potentially an unlimited amount of them. Lewis can also randomly crit enemies, which does save time. The first phase is always the same, and gets you about 25 kills. After this, there is a lot of randomness that ensues. The best cabin ever recorded was done by Yushi himself, and was completed in 1 minute 46 seconds and 46 milliseconds. That's a whole 4 seconds faster than anyone else. Generally, anything under 2 minutes and 10 seconds is considered a good cabin, especially when sometimes
This never ends!
If somehow you manage to get past the cabin, you are truly a blessed individual. For now, the biggest RNG factors are gone. The Big Cheese has 3 patterns, and they all have an equal chance of occurring. The slowest loses about 6 seconds. When Leon and Ashley get to the castle, they start to initiate some regime change, but the villagers are fighting back. Catapults have a rare chance to stagger Leon, but Ashley does not care. I can't tell if she's so brave or too stupid to know that she's in danger. 3-second time loss. While Waterhall is mostly based on execution, there is also a lot of RNG involved. This room is all about adaptation. Runners spend tens of hours in this very room, practicing for every possible outcome. For example, there is a 34% chance to get hit by an archer, and a 30% chance that you get some cultists in your basement. No matter what happens in this room, it can always be outplayed to minimize time loss. This room is a pure showcase of raw talent and adaptability of a player like Yushi. While the game itself is not known for having lots of RNG, one enemy certainly is. Novicidors, aka Pure Cancer, are these flying invisible bugs that sole purpose is to suck your soul like a Dementor. They show up in 3 instances, and each instance has more and more RNG. This first instance can actually be manipulated almost entirely so that you always get the pattern you are looking for. The only random aspect is this last Novicidor right after the door. A 5-second time loss. Novies aside, archers are the next most random thing in the game. Every archer has a random chance to exterminate your life savings of time save. This particular archer has a chance to stand in the middle of the room, allowing you to skip throwing a flashbang, which saves about 4 seconds. This gallery can be something akin to the gathering of the Juggalos. These clowns will block the door and can often kill you. 5 to 30-second time loss. Once you pass this point though, Yushi has a lot of time to relax and ponder. You know, actually, how do magnets work? These shield bros can get lazy and just not open the door. This saves 3 seconds. There is a bug inside these helmets, and on the last one, that sometimes will not break on the first hit. 2 seconds lost. The Novies now return and want revenge. There is about a 50% chance to leave this room alive. 5 seconds of time loss, or potentially your entire life. The catapults are back and they want revenge as well. 50% chance to stagger, losing 4 seconds. Some cultists get really brave and charge forward past the crowd. Meme Bridge is aptly named. 4 seconds gone. Once Yushi reaches the merchant, he gets granted the gift of the gods and now can run really fast, thanks to our homie Dimon. The Novies are back for their last stand, and they're pissed. More than 65% of all runs totally die here, and a hit loses 3 seconds. Escaping the cave, Yushi finally can breathe a breath of fresh air, as most RNG in the game is over. Now that Novies are totally past, he mainly has to just worry about the final chapter in the game. This lift is watched over by a guy with way too much dynamite at his disposal. There's a 12% chance that he just goes postal and spams you with explosives. It's also a 6-second time loss. This flail individual has an 8% chance to ruin your entire life. Also, it's a 6-second time loss. Yushi has to pray and do his best professional baseball player impression for a 40% chance to not get hit while navigating this Miley Cyrus hit single, which is anywhere from a 6-second to a 1-minute time loss, depending on if you get hit by the big boy. U3 has a 70% chance to totally give you the tentacles in this first cage fight. Adapting to this bad pattern loses you about 5 seconds. The other sections of U3 can be totally manipulated with precise movement. That flail individual from earlier has been transferred to this new location, but his quest to ruin Yushi's life is not over. 6% chance to ruin your life and end it instantly. 6-second time loss. Krauser has a lot of weapons at his disposal: the TMP, the grenade, the knife, and even the bow. The only one that actually loses time is the bow. However, it is more likely that you get the bow than all other possible combinations combined. Thanks, game. 55% chance to happen. A 3-second time loss. Now that Yushi has crawled his way through an hour and 16 minutes of intense execution and brutal RNG, he faces his last real challenge, 5-4. This chapter is infamous among speedrunners, and the last good push of the run. With archers, Gatling gunners, and axe throwers galore, there is roughly a 29% chance that you'll get to this first short section without taking any hits. If you do take a hit, the chance that you get stun locked and die is also very high. Once past this door, the amount of RNG plummets, and recent manipulations have been found for the triple Gatling gun room. However, in order to perform this specific movement, Yushi needs to be able to perform perfectly. With the first section of 5-4 done and gone, there is only one more hard room. War Room. Armed with thousands of hours and tens of thousands of attempts, all of the work and dedication runners like Yushi have put into their game culminate into this last push. Yushi rushes past a dozen enemies or so and starts to perform very precise movement in the hopes that he can manipulate the enemies into doing what he wants. It's not 100% consistent, and War Room never likes to play nice. Roughly 78% of the attempts of War Room lose at least some amount of time. And often, rooms like this can just straight up kill you. Once Yushi gets to this door, he climbs the ladder and prays that he won't get hit as soon as he comes off of it. Every enemy after this part has a random location they can spawn in. Using his thousands of hours and immense knowledge and skill, Yushi adapts his way through this section and eventually crosses the threshold to glory. Silence falls on the man's microphone. He's about to do what was thought couldn't be done. Not only is he on pace to beat the world's fastest recorded time in Resident Evil 4, but he is also on pace for the world's first 121, a barrier that previously was thought not possible. Yushi's perseverance and grit is palpable, as he does not celebrate early. While there is no more RNG in the game, there is still a few more rooms that must be executed perfectly. As the final boss falls, Yushi lets out a sigh of relief. Now he just has to run to the end, and he can secure his glorious moment. Dead silent, he rides the jet ski off into the sunset. And then the moment the timer stops, a wave of joy and relief falls onto the mark.
オッケー、やっと。やっと。
Now, surely this is a momentous occasion. Anytime someone beats a world record, it is truly a triumphant moment. Seeing all the time, effort, and emotion invested into someone's craft culminate in one moment is surely a thing of beauty. For runners like Yushi, it is more than just a game. It's a way of pushing yourself past boundaries thought possible, and the journey for self-improvement. The fact that not only for someone to achieve such an insane time, a great amount of skill is required, but also that the stars must align is truly inspiring.
現ルートの理論値というか、人間の限界がだいたい21分30
Countless hours are poured into runs that are just destined for failure. Persevering through these runs that will never make it off the ground makes it so much sweeter when a run finally gets going. Resident Evil 4 has around 32 sections of generalized RNG, culminating into 2 or so minutes of variance between things that can happen. The odds that you get the perfect run where everything goes as planned is approximately a 0.00000000118% chance of happening. While Yushi did not get the perfect run by any means, he did have to grind through countless attempts to even get a chance at getting a run like the one he did. Yushi and runners like him have accomplished great feats and have truly inspired many like myself. But what kind of time could we expect to see if the stars were to align? Well, according to Yushi's sum of best segments, the best possible time he could get is a 1:19:41. This matches our estimated time that could be saved if the stars were to truly align. Now, while this will probably never happen, it is really interesting to know just how much the random factor affects the speedrun. Resident Evil 4 was never known for its RNG, but it will forever be known as an amazing speedrun full of amazing people like Yushi. Thank you so much for watching. This is a really new video format for me, so let me know how I can improve it. Major shout out to Yushi for letting me use his footage for this video and for inspiring many like myself to chase our dreams and crush our goals. If you would like to see me do some type of video like this in the future for another game, let me know in the comments below. It was a large amount of work gaining the data and crunching the numbers for this video, but we made the time fly by as I did it on my Twitch stream live. If that interests you at all, come by and say hello. I stream nearly every day.